Hey, everybody, I'm here with the Colonel, Colonel Frank Barrow, Lieutenant Colonel retired. Sir, thanks so much for being with us. Hey, I'm going to run this slideshow one more time. We just walked through it, and I'm going to play it one more time. Let's watch it together.
Ever since I know your name, you struck me on this cloud for a joyride. Hope every kiss would be the same, and every hug would last forever. With you, my only love. With you in my heart and soul. Oh.
Are you still there?
I don't know what happened. Something went crazy there. Something went crazy there. I'm here with the Colonel, everybody. Sir, thanks for being here with me. I sure do appreciate it. It's
Glad
an
to be
honor
here.
to hang out with you. I just got to ask this one question before we get started. Were you or were you not at Cattleman's during the incident in the 90s? Were you there, sir?
I think I led it. Me and Sergeant Major
I
led him.
knew it. I knew
Yes.
it. I knew it. We're gonna get the skinny, folks. We're gonna find out the deal. I want to know at the end of the day. I want to know. Well, I want to tell you first thing, sir. That was the funnest party I've ever been at in my life. Okay, that night it
Well, it's a
was.
good party.
If you just look at it from that perspective, sir, it topped everything. We were doing the jump commands and time warnings on tables in this
Oh,
swanky restaurant.
yes, we did.
And we didn't the play. We didn't. There was a couple of things that got broken, but not much,
I think one
right?
table busted
Just a
and
couple of things, and it wasn't
chair.
intentional.
No.
Yeah, yeah. And then, but of course, we had the captain that tried to steal the cigar horse, right?
Yeah, that was probably created a couple issues there, but he definitely was riding the horse, no doubt about that. But we know all that goes back. I don't know if you remember Lieutenant Colonel when I was a young battery commander, Lieutenant Colonel Jim Frederick. We always went to Cattleman's after we had our gunnery at the end of it. And he had a tradition that we would always do the same thing that I did. We line up the tables. We're going to give the jump commands. We're going to have a hoorah, good lead from the front kind of thing. And so, as you might remember, that Lieutenant Colonel Cardini became ill. And during that period, I became the interim or acting commander on his behalf after he was diagnosed with cancer. And so we went out for gunnery, and I naturally wanted to bring that tradition back, and we did it with style. It just cost us a few $100s afterward. And I think, though, that the owner was a little, particularly with the horse incident, was a little pissed off, and we were banned from the joint. But that was a good story and a good memories. I think everybody that was there knew that these were some tough soldiers, and we had a good time after a very, very good gunnery out at the range out there.
Could you go through explaining the tradition that you were trying to bring to us? Because I'm telling you, I promise, as an air defender paratrooper, it was one of the best nights ever, right? It was. Tell me explain your intention of us in the battalion. We were at the firing out party. We had just all certified and qualified, and we had our competitions, and everybody was on a high, right? We'd been out for 10 days working our butts off, getting prepared and doing our competition. Whether you won or lost, you were proud of what you had done. And there we were. They gave us these tickets for beers that night, right? You go up there and I think they give you each soldier like 3 tickets, and then you could buy more tickets for $1 or something. It was like, so we were pounding drinks.
They treat us very well. They treat us very well out there. And the intention, and again, I got it from Colonel Frederick, who had done that for years, and he had been a battery commander there, so I'm sure it went back many, many years, was to show some camaraderie and to show the public that was attending. A lot of folks watched us and saw us do this big jump, and we had a big pile of troopers. If you remember, the landing zone was on the ground outside of those tables, but it was to demonstrate to the soldiers that from top to bottom, we were all one team. From me down, and Sergeant Major Adams was there, if you recall, and it was a great evening from the lowest private up to I guess to me at that night, just to show that we were all part of the team. And so I'm glad. I've had other soldiers over the years that will bring up, and some of them, I don't remember because they were in a different battery or real young guys, but those that do remember it always come back and say, man, that was a cool night. I appreciate you leading from the front up there. So it was a good memory for me too, even though I know without the horse incident, I think we would have been just fine, but it turned out to be a good memory. You remember seeing him on the horse outside? It was tied off, but it was quite an evening, no doubt. The 80 Deuce was definitely on the loose.
Oh, that was so great. Wow. We, back in those days, back in those times, they were, that was when, Command Sergeant Major Kendricks standing out there in front of formation, cussing us out for cussing, right? He's like, you MFers, you keep more you MFers, and it's like, what? Come on now, what the heck? Great times, just amazing things, right? Was somebody brought up the other night? Were you on the field when the tankers? We had the Bastard Brigade running. The tankers brought in the girls in the tanks.
I can't remember the girls in the tanks. That one I might not remember. That
you don't remember that?
No.
Yeah. That was great, crazy times back then.
It was, but I'll tell you what, the soldiers that all served in the 82nd period, but also in our battalion, had a lot of pride. They were very, very good at what they did, and we soldiered hard. We also played hard, and there's one thing about being in the 82nd, you got to think you're 10 feet tall, because in reality, the big Army units are a lot bigger. They've got more firepower than we do, but we just have a lot more gumption, or had, I should say. I'm getting a little old in the tooth, but gumption and tenacity and just bold down behavior can get you through a lot of things. And I do remember one day we were running our battery when I was in Delta Battery as a young captain, and we came across an 8-inch unit that was there, and we ran by them, and of course we dogged them out. There were legs and all this other stuff. Well, you got to remember those 8-inch boys were some pretty big, either 8-inch or it may have been the what was that other one they had there? The 155 guys that were just close to us. I looked back and they were going at it. It was a battery run. And later in the day, as I was sitting in my office, because we broke them all up and kept on our way, but this big guy stood in my door frame, and he came over, and I watched him fill up that door frame. And he said, I want to come over and apologize for the actions of my battery today. And I said, well, that's good. Make sure you do that next time. But he was a big man, another captain. But we had a lot of good fun in those days. the one time I do remember we ran by a guy though who you know, we all, if you fell out, you got dogged pretty hard. We dogged him naturally as we should, but we found out that he had died actually on that run. So that was a kind of a sad day for that particular individual. But how about the run to Club 54? Do you remember that? I know you do.
Oh yeah, so things I was going to say is that next year that's what we did. We had to run to the dang club for the guys punished.
Yep. It was that got started not with I was on the first one, but it was all the young captains that we had in the unit at the time. And again, we were back for gunnery, and I was challenged. You know, hey, sir, tomorrow we're going to run this run. You know, they wanted me. They were baiting me to go. Well, naturally, we were near the end of the thing, and I'd gone into town, had probably one or two too many beers that night. But they got me up early, and we ran. It was about 4 or 5 of us, and I made it and beat some of them, which made me feel pretty good after a night like that. But then we did it 2 more times while I was there at 2 different gunneries, and it became sort of a tradition for the unit, and a lot of pride was in those men that finished that run, because it wasn't an easy run to complete. So anyway, good stuff.
It was
great.
Yeah.
It was a great time.
Tell me about, you know, you go by Frank?
I'm sorry.
I guess our connection is not doing too well tonight. Or you go by Frank, is that right?
That's my middle name, right? Robert Franklin is mine, but I go by Frank. That's right.
Yeah. I'm those guys that I'm an Andrew William, and so my parents called me William. So
yep.
I'm a middle name kind of guy like that. Where are you from?
Well, I was actually born in Germany. My father was an airman in the 50s, born in Wiesbaden Air Force Base Hospital. My mother's German. It's kind of a neat story there. My dad was a linguist for the Air Force, but he was they flew in the back of C-130s along the Czech border, actually, and they had several linguists along all the borders. They go between Germany and Turkey. And so he met my mother in Frankfurt while he was stationed at Rhein Air Base. They fell in love with each other, so to speak. And lo and behold, who's on the way? Frank Barrow was on the way. So he wound up, because she had, after World War II, had spent a lot of time in East Germany. That's where she wound up after the war. And he lost his security clearance. And he was pretty upset about that, because he was supposed to do one more flight with the guys, all of his buddies, just like we were in the 82nd. And they pulled him off the flight, and he was pretty upset. It even cost him a stripe just because he lost his clearance. And that plane was shot down in 1958, in September of 1958, and I was born 3 months later. So I think you could argue pretty well that had it not been for my mother, and I guess for me being on the way, that he wouldn't be here today. And they got married in October, a month later after that incident. So that's fate has a lot to do with our lives. And I look back and think my whole life would be completely different had he been aboard that plane. I would have been raised in Germany to a single poor German girl. And that's I certainly wouldn't be where I'm at today. That's for sure. So I take my faith pretty seriously because of that.
Amen.
Yep.
Yeah. So tell me about spirituality. How does that shape those dark nights? So, you know, when you're marching down the street all alone, you know?
Faith, is that what you asked? Sometimes it comes across broken, so I apologize. Are you still there?
With our connection, yeah, we're definitely having problems with our connection. Let's you want to power through, or do you want to try to
I can go and reset my Wi-Fi if you would like. It'll take me just a couple minutes, and if I lose connection, I'll come back to you.
Do you think that's?
I know it is. I've got AT&T old DSL. That's my neighborhood here. That's all they have. So I'll be happy to do that if you're willing to give it a minute.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'll go ahead and do what you got to do and pop back up, and I'll be right here.
Okay, you can do a commercial break. That's so.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm going to do. That's exactly what I'm going to do. All right. So we'll see the Colonel here in just a minute. Hey, let's talk about our donors. We really appreciate our donors and our supporters, and it means a lot to us. Our master rated donors: Williams, Jackman, Calderon, Evans, Cobos, Wino. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Our senior rated donors: Newton, Diaz, From, Fernandez. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you want to nominate somebody, please go to the website, formerforce.com, and you can sign up right there on formerforce.com. We have actually, let me share that with you. We actually have a sign up right there on the website. So let's look at that real quick. And what we see here is, look, there's Colonel Barrow, our current guest. Right here, you can donate right there. Click that button. You click that button, and it pulls up, a donate to PayPal kind of thing. And it's a little web address, and it goes to Joe and I's little account to support Heroes I Know. It looks like that right there. Here's our upcoming schedule. Can you?
There you are.
We're getting out. Me or like completely like Luke, you're wrong. We seem
Sounds like you're still coming in all broken up. Can you? If you want to try this again at another date, we can do that.
yeah.
I see you. I'm up. Yeah, it's still frozen.
We're gonna